Like, if you really don't want to talk to somebody, it's not going to matter if you can't hear their voice or you don't know if they are speaking to you because you have no desire to talk to them. Right?
Jeez.
Like, if I really want to talk to somebody, I'm going to do whatever is necessary. Bro, when I'm on the road and it's time for me to talk to my wife, I don't care if I got to pull up Facebook Messenger. I don't care if I got to pull up FaceTime, if it got to be Instagram, if I got to send a stork, if I got to send a carrier pigeon, we going to talk, right? Because I have a desire to connect with her. But my question then is, first, I think a lot of us don't hear from God because we really don't want to talk to God. We want to talk to the form that we've created as God. What's
Bro,
your thoughts, bro?
man, when Jesus met that woman at the well, I love this. I love what you just did, bro. When Jesus met the woman at the well, in the latter part of their conversation, he said, man, there will be a time when the true worshipers will worship me in spirit and in truth. God is a spirit, and he's seeking such to worship him. It's about that relation. God is looking for those who can connect with him and can understand that initially and naturally there is a barrier. And for his voice to be heard, there has to be a breakthrough the language barrier or the state barrier of the way that we move. That's what it says the carnal mind is of death. And so he's calling us to think spiritually, to live spiritually so that we can relate and so that we can hear his voice. If you're only able to process carnally, then you'll hear his voice through a carnal processor or a carnal filter. And the things that he said, you're going to interpret or misinterpret what he said because you have a carnal processing, a carnal filter, and you'll only hear what you want to hear. And they were talking about the lag and the echo. Echoes are really kind of like a delay because it's actually your voice coming back to you. And we actually get comfortable with echo chambers. We want to hear our voice back. And it's so funny because God's voice and his language challenges our flesh. It challenges the status quo. It challenges our laziness. It challenges our sinful nature. It challenges our true desires and questions, hey, what do you really want? It digs at our core and it exposes our frailty, man. We're dealing with a God who is spirit, and he's coming to confront with his voice. Literally, it's a shepherd talking to sheep. It's two different vantage points. The shepherd can see past the sheep. The sheep can only see pieces of the image because there's blockages from other sheep, and there's wool this way and there's bushes that way. But the shepherd has a different vantage point. So when he talks to us with the shepherd, shepherds don't speak sheep. They don't baa, but they know how to direct. And it takes the type of sheep that leans in through time and experience and desire to actually recognize the direction of the shepherd, even when it hurts, because sometimes the shepherd has to talk through his rod.
Okay, I'm gonna just hang it up. I'm gonna let you got tonight. It's all you, bro. It's all you, because the fact that you just said that a shepherd doesn't speak sheep, like if I was sitting next to you, I would have elbowed you in the side of your head. Like, because
Wow.
what you're saying now is maybe I'm not hearing God because I want him to speak my language. Maybe I don't hear God because he doesn't sound like me, and I want him to sound like me. So then if God is speaking and then I am not hearing what I desire to hear the way I desire to hear it, then I am refusing everything he is saying because it don't sound like me. My question is, how quick is it for us to get up from our times and interactions with God in prayer when it doesn't sound like what I thought it was going to sound like? What is my perspective of what it sounds like? Like what is it supposed to sound like to me when I go to God? Because if if he doesn't speak my language, then what you just gave me was a foundation to understand that when I go to him, I should be expecting something that doesn't sound like me.
Come on.
My expectation should now be to hear something that I normally wouldn't say.
And bro, we gonna have to get off. We're gonna get off this IG live because I need to be able to focus, bro. And this is why it's so dangerous, even to receive teaching. When people are teaching, they talk about eisegetical teaching versus exegetical teaching. Eisegetical teaching, it actually reads into the passage. It takes my perspective and puts it and imposes and projects it into what I'm reading. Exegetical is what it pulls out from what is actually being said, step by step, word for word. And I think first of all, we need to get back to the word. We need to get back and used to the language of God. God is like, I'm going to spill my character onto pages so that when I speak to you real time, you're going to be able to see me move real time. When I take this away, you'll recognize that because you took it away from Joseph, you didn't rob him of a dream, but you postponed and took him through a journey where he was able to learn and interpret and learn and interpret and learn and interpret, so that when you placed him in position, he was already prepared and already equipped to navigate. And so in the same way, man, we gotta get back to looking at the word of God and looking at God the way he presents himself, not the way we desire for him to be presented. The reason why the Pharisees missed Jesus is because he didn't look like they wanted him to look. Imagine us, and we scorn and laugh and mock at the Pharisees, but imagine us. We are so locked into what we want Jesus to look like in our situation and what Jesus sounds like in our situation. Sometimes it's not even enough to know the language, but know the vernacular and tone. See, look, there are a lot of dads that speak English, but there's only one dad that has the voice, the vibrations of the esophagus of my father. So when he speaks, I will not turn to another. And in the same way, there are a lot of people that there's a lot of teaching that sound good and it sounds like God and it tickles my fancy. But if you get yourself accustomed to reading the word and knowing how God talks, your father talks, then you won't be moved and you won't be easily swayed. You won't have itching ears. And when somebody speaks prophetic utterances that's moving everybody else, you're like, hold on, that don't sound like that. I don't recognize that voice. I know my father's voice. I want to be the type of sheep where when my father speaks, it's unmistakable.
Yeah.
The thing that the serpent caught Eve with was he was able to get her to doubt the voice of God. Did God really say? And it's not the fact that God didn't speak, it's the fact that he spoke. But we want that echo chamber. I need to hear what I want. I need to see what I desire. I need to see my present needs to be manifested the way I see it. And God is like, man, there is a language barrier. Did God really say? Are you sitting there questioning the presence of God in your life because of a seed planted by a serpent? And the serpent, a lot of times, could be your choices of music. The serpent, a lot of times, can be your choice as a friend. Who have you allowed to come into your circle to distort the voice of God? You know God told you to walk in purity, to abstain. But now you find yourself slipping into, oh, man, look, as long as come on, let's get transparent in the building. I was in a situation with my high school girlfriend, and she told me when we were like about to get to it, she was like, we about to get married anyway. Completely naked. We about to get married anyway. And I was just like, man, you know what? This is my girlfriend. I don't plan to be with anybody else. And it is so easy for a serpent to plant itself in the mind of someone who has not locked in to the voice, language, vernacular, and tone of God. Man, where you at, bro?
Bro, oh my gosh. Because here's the thing, is that what you said was that Eve was deceived because she was able to be tricked about what God said.
Come on.
But Eve is a lot of us because we didn't get it from God. We got it from Adam. See, now we're talking about relational. Now we're talking about now we're talking about transferring now, because now it's not about Eve didn't get the word directly from God. She got it from Adam, which is why there may have been a time where the serpent was able to slip in and deceive, because when he questions her about what God said, she don't know.
Oh my gosh.
All I know is what Adam said that God said. And how many of us, oh my God, I've never heard it like this. How many of us are in a space where we don't know what God said because we heard it through someone else?
God help us.
I
That's good.
don't know what God said, so I can't follow the truth because all I know is what they told me. So if I'm going by what they told me, then I don't know when the serpent comes. If I don't know the truth, I can't trust what I've heard. This is why, bro, I talked about it on Sunday, is that I know the truth and I can trust it because I know it for myself. I've gotten close enough to learn him, to know his voice, to understand what he's saying instead of hearing it secondhand. How much of our relationship with God is secondhand? We got now, you know, you got siblings. So many people grow up and we pass down clothes, right? This don't fit me no more, so then you take it. Right, I've outgrown this. You're the little sibling. You take this clothes, right? You take this shirt, and so many people are taking our faith as hand-me-downs. Hey, this don't fit me no more, so here, you take this. Right, this doesn't fit where I am in the season of my life, and we got preachers. Help me, God. We got preachers that are passing down hand-me-down knowledge to the sheep, because it doesn't fit where they are anymore. So they start preaching more about their haters than they do about holiness.
Hey, get out. Hey,
I'm about to get in
I'm about
trouble.
to fight you.
So we in here. We got secondhand knowledge. That's why when the serpent comes, that's why when he comes, did God really say? I don't know. That's what they told me, he said. So how can I hear God for real if I don't know what he said for myself? You can't tell me what God said and what he didn't say, because I went to him and got it for myself. Like, I know it for a fact. It's verified. And not just in one area, because here's the thing, is that we only want God to speak one way. God, let me hear your voice. And he's like, I gave you 66 books of my voice.